It's a Saturday afternoon here at Silverstone, and that means it's time for today's qualifying. Enjoy the action.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of F1 2017 Career Mode, and today it's the British Grand Prix, and it's my home race. I believe the Renault team are based somewhere in the UK. I know they're a French manufacturer, but a lot of the teams are based in the UK anyway, so it's a bit of a special one. And I do apologise about the length of this video, but yeah, it was an action-packed one. So let's jump straight into qualifying. You can see here I'm skipping this session towards the end, and then we're going to go out on a set of super softs. So right out at the very end of Q1, coming into the last corner.
Left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap, or that's qualifying over for us.
Yep, thanks Jeff. Didn't need to know that. Into turn 1, flat as always in these 2017 cars, and drop it down into the first section. I'm going to skip ahead this lap because it wasn't too special. I felt there was a bit more left to give in the car. That was more of a warm-up. The car felt good in practice, so yeah, I thought I'd go out again, see what I can do. P16 for the first lap. That's not too bad, but yeah, we can do much better. Yep, thanks Jeff. Interrupt my commentary right when I needed it. Thank you very much. So you can see we're already going green in the first sector. Coming down, it was the tyres were starting to drop off, so I lost a bit of time in Maggots and Beckett's, but can we just nip through at the very end of qualifying? I think we did. Was that P15? It looks like P15. It's P15. Fantastic drive. So back into Q2, rushing through some of the loading screens here because, like I said, the race is a bit of a long one, bit of a messy one. So yeah, drop the fuel load down again. We're running with a slightly old engine in this Grand Prix. I don't know if it's popped up yet on the MFD there, but yeah, there was a bit of engine trouble throughout the session. I was going to change it, but I thought the Renault was not going to do anything special at this Grand Prix. So jumping into Q2, final 2 minutes again. I like to leave myself. Yep. Thank you, Jeff. Yep, thank you. 2 minutes to go. Just Jeff is doing my job for me, which is just fantastic, really. So yeah, coming to the last corner to start the flying lap. I didn't really leave any of the full laps in on this post edit, mainly because the lap's quite long and not a lot happened really. Yep, jumping towards the end of the lap now. We're going through Maggots and Beckett's. These corners feel just fantastic. I mean, really fantastic. You can just throw the car in, and with the right wing settings, it'll just grip. There's just so much grip going through those. So again, coming towards the last part of the lap here. Down into the final complex. What's it going to be? 27, 8, 9. Good enough for P5. P5, thanks Jeff. So I thought, why not keep going? Only another extra lap towards the end of the session, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to be able to improve on that, so let's hope nobody else does either. What's it going to be? It's P5. Fantastic. So we're through to the last part of qualifying at our home Grand Prix in a very underpowered Renault, so let's see what we can do. Adjust the setup again. We're going to drop down the fuel load for a single run and jump right to the end of Q3 session when the grip is at its best. So let's go on board with a full lap now. So coming up to start the lap, final 20 seconds with probably the last one across the start finish line, which is what you want really. And I'll leave you with this lap. I hope you enjoy it.
Nice job.
Thank you, Jeff. P5 for the Silverstone Grand Prix. So because of that qualifying, I'm not going to be changing the engine out, so hopefully it'll last for the full session. P5 for the grid.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position and a Renault alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Massa, Lance Stroll and Bottas, Hamilton, Grosjean, Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen and Alonso, Perez, Van Dorn, Kimi Räikkönen and Marcus Ericsson, Wehrlein and Carlos Sainz starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary
Thank you,
risks.
Jeff. As you can see, we're on P2. There's been some engine penalties handed out overnight, and now we're going to be starting side by side with
Okay,
certainly my favourite
gears if you
driver,
can. You need to make sure
Sebastian
the
Vettel.
engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though. So
Yes,
don't
yes,
go too
yes,
hard on the
Jeff. I
revs.
know what I'm doing. Kimi Räikkönen quote there. So yeah, P2. After the engine penalties applied to, I think both Mercedes got engine penalties there, and Kimi and even Ricciardo. So yeah, this should be an interesting race. We've got the two Williams drivers starting not too far behind us, right in the middle of Vettel and Verstappen, which is just always the place you want to be, really. I can't see any drama going on the first turn at all. So yeah, I thought I'd show you a little bit of what the formation lap is like for me. It's really just trying to figure out where is going to be a good place to get Vettel on the first lap, because I mean, statistically these drivers are weak on the first lap. They're certainly much stronger this year than they have been on previous games, but I mean, Codemasters AI have always been weakest on the first lap. They tend to take a little bit longer to kick in, and then the harder the difficulty, the more relentless they become towards the end of the Grand Prix. So really my goal here is to try and jump Vettel on the start, get into a strong position, defend, and yeah, I don't know about you, but these clouds look like rain. So let's jump in. 5 lights, and it's a nice clean start. As we go, we managed to get Vettel. Vettel had a bad start, and both Williams are... I think one of the Williams there just caught the back of Verstappen, but no yellow flag as it is, but we are in the lead of the Silverstone Grand Prix.
They're on
Team
all
radio.
super softs.
I believe that was the wrong team radio.
We expect to potentially see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Confirmed pit crew will ready wet tyres for your next stop.
Yep, so as I thought there, the clouds do look like rain, which could be interesting. I mean, these super softs are supposed to last till lap 9, so there's a chance here that we can one-stop this race and go straight onto the intermediates. So, are we going to win in a straight fight between Vettel and Verstappen? No. Do we have a worn-out engine? Yes. Do we have the fastest car on the grid? No. So what are we going to do? I'm going to try and extend onto intermediates. The tyres are going to drop off horrendously, but that's my only strategy really, is to take these tyres and yeah, take as far into the race as I can. In theory, I should have tried to qualify in Q2 on the softs, like Verstappen did. So really, realistically, we're looking at Verstappen as our main rival in this race, because Hamilton and Vettel there. Hamilton must have had a beast of a start. Yeah, because he was like P7, P8, something like that. So yeah, Hamilton and Vettel, they're really not our fight, because they are going to hit on the standard AI pit stop at about lap 4 or 5, I think my recommended stop was. Yeah, so we're really looking at Verstappen here, and perhaps the Force Indias or the Williams that are going to be the biggest challenge, and perhaps too Kimi Raikkonen and Ricciardo, because I believe they'll have had the ability to change tyres, or they qualified on the softs in Q2, but I'm not sure. So yeah, we're looking at realistically we're looking at, sorry about that, realistically we're looking at the other Ferrari and the other Red Bull, and perhaps Verstappen, maybe not, and perhaps Bottas, but again, yeah, we'll see what happens. So realistically, I'm not going to fight Vettel and Hamilton too hard. I mean, I don't want them to get away, because if they're fast enough, then their second pit stop will just, it'll be nothing, but we'll be right back at them with the fight, and then we still can't take the fight to them even in the wet. But here comes Vettel round the outside, just run him out of room fairly but aggressively, and that's basically my strategy. I mean, they're not going to get me in the corners, but they might get me at the end of the DRS straights. So I think lap 3 is a bit early for the wet tyre, Jeff, so yeah, I think we'll go with sticking to the normal one, but again, we're just going to ignore that pit stop anyway, and we're going to come in for intermediates, hopefully towards the end of the race if it starts raining. But yeah, you can see there that the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Red Bulls and the 2 Ferraris are mega quick compared to us, so the goal is defend hard at the end of the DRS straights, defend hard into cops, and hopefully shouldn't be too much of an issue in the corners. We're running with a bit less fuel because we're expecting rain or a safety car, and really this is the only way that we're going to stand any chance against this Ferrari. In through Maggots and Beckett's. Again, in the race, these corners still feel incredible, but not as fantastic as qualifying. And here comes Sebastian Vettel. He's coming up the inside. Is Lewis going to follow him? I don't know, but we're going to dive right around the outside, leave him just enough room, and track extend like a champion. But Vettel is still in front. Are we going to get him on the brakes? Side by side, we throw the hand up. I don't know, is Vettel going to get us here round the outside, side by side with the 4-time world champion? Still side by side as we cross the start finish straight into turn 1. I think we left him just enough room there, but wow. Vettel races hard, races fair. We left him enough space on the inside. Wow, side by side. These guys want to get past. They are hungry for this race win. But I'm sorry, boys. As a British driver leading the British Grand Prix, and that is special. Less than a second back to Lewis Hamilton there, if you spotted that in the top left corner. So these guys are really close, really close. Normally I like to race in the cockpit mode, but I thought for this race, give you guys a good view of what's going on, that we'd stay in TV pod mode. It's 6 and 2 3s really. I find them both as easy to race in, but I prefer the cockpit mode for like immersion. So I tend to stick to that, and yeah, not doing too well on this fuel saving business, but we've still got a long way to go in this race. Is Vettel going to get us on the DRS here? I don't think so. I think he's just a little bit too far back. Track extend again, like a champion. Is that Vettel coming into the pits? It is. So Vettel is in the pits on lap 4. That is a brave move. Maybe trying the undercut, thinking he's going to get past me, but Hamilton stays out, and Verstappen is close behind us. So Verstappen is going to be a threat to us later in the race, because he's going to be able to take those softs just as far as I'm intending to take these super softs. So yeah, I don't know, we're going to have to keep an eye out for him. But Verstappen is good in the wet, as is Lewis, so if it does rain, this is going to be a challenge. So we're coming on to the back straight now. DRS wide open for Lewis Hamilton. Is he going to get a run at us? Coming down, he's on the inside, give him in just enough room, drive him right around the outside. I think we threw the hand up there, I think there was contact, but run Lewis Hamilton right out of space on the exit of that corner there. I really should memorise the track, the corners to this track. I know, you know, it's my home Grand Prix, and I did used to know them all. I know this one's Cobbs, and then we have Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chaffel, I think, and then Abbey. I can't remember. They really should have put those, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the latter stages of this season, they've had the turns on, turn numbers on. I first noticed it in Singapore, and they had the you know, turn 1, turn 2 on the camera shot, so that you could see what turn was which. They really should have put that in the game, because I think that would have been much easier in terms of like YouTubers filming and commentating over. But Hamilton comes into the pits now at the end of lap 5, so let's see if Vettel manages to jump Lewis in the pits. Teammate in the pits as well, so this is definitely super soft pitting time, but we are staying out. We've got Verstappen for company. You can see there on the MFD that we've actually selected the intermediate tyre for our next stop anyway. There was a bit of a jut there, I don't know if you noticed, that was me looking in the pause menu to see what tyres Lewis and Sebastian had put on, because I wasn't quite sure whether they were going to go double super softs and perhaps see if they could catch me back up for the intermediate phase. But Kimi Räikkönen sets the fastest lap there, so he's going to be a threat as well. But yeah, Bottas is on the softs, so I was right about that one after his penalty. So yeah, we've got the 2 Red Bulls, Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen as our main contenders in this race, I guess is how you'd say it. But Lewis and Seb definitely should not have pitted then. If there's going to be rain, that is. And yeah, the clouds are starting to clear though, if you look out this way of the track. So perhaps we were wrong, perhaps Jeff was wrong. Perhaps the rain is going to hold off in this race, but turning to look over the pit complex, yeah, the clouds are dark. Stay out another lap, and hopefully this rain will come and Verstappen will not be able to get past us. That's the plan. Verstappen gets ahead of us, it's race over, in terms of the race win anyway. Half a second back to Valtteri Bottas. That's not really ideal. You can almost feel the pressuring down the back of my neck, and yeah. Is Verstappen going to be able to get us in this DRS zone? I don't know. He looks quite far back. We're going to get a good drive out of here. The tyres are screaming for a change. Okay, so Jeff confirms that rain is coming pretty soon as Sebastian Vettel goes fastest on his soft tyres. The good news is, if my engine is taking a beating at this stage in the championship, then everybody else's who's not changed surely will be struggling. So Bottas should be on a fresh engine component or components, and Verstappen should be on the same sort of Renault engine that I'm on. So if Verstappen can hold back Bottas, I think we should be able to hold back Verstappen as long as we keep it clean. But we run right wide coming out of Maggots and Beckett's. That's going to affect us on the pit straight. You can see we're half a second down on our best time. Here comes Verstappen. Is he going to be able to do anything? No, just not fast enough. So thinking maybe that his engine has got some wear and tear as well. Is that them both coming into the pits now? It is. Verstappen and Bottas peel off into the pit lane, so they cannot take their softs very far at all. Perhaps they're trying an undercut strategy here, but I mean, if I was running the softs, I'd be wanting to run them out as long as possible and get the fresh super softs at the end for a dry race. So Force India is now behind us. A bit of a gap back to them. The trick with doing a race strategy like this is to not not run these tyres to the point where your main rivals catch you back up, because then you've really lost all the time you gained by staying out. 15 minutes till heavy rain, so does that mean that Jeff thinks it's already light rain? I mean, I can't see any spits of rain just yet.
Keep to the current plan or try the new one. Understood, copy that.
Here we go, the strategy change. The call comes in from Jeff, so it must be raining. I can't see any raindrops on the screen on my preview, so maybe they're not coming through. So is it box time just yet? I just don't know. I mean, Jeff seems to think it is, but... So if Jeff says heavy rain, that usually means that light rain is already taking place, because he does call out the light rain. So we're going to stay out one more lap on the dry tyres, pit in next lap hopefully for intermediates. Ooh, running wide there. So the track is greasy. We've just lost 2.5 seconds there, but nobody else seems to be coming in for the intermediates, and there's the first few drops of rain. So yeah, box this lap, put on the intermediate tyres, and hopefully we should be able to... I mean, I think one of the Force Indias, Perez, has just come in and put on soft tyres, so Perez is out of this race. There's no way that's going to be 2 pit stops, and that brings Sebastian Vettel, our main rival, into 3rd place.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change?
Okay, fantastic, thanks Jeff. That will not...
Copy that.
No Jeff, I'm already coming in for intermediates. Why would you give me the dry tyre call? So we'll put on the intermediates there, because Jeff... I don't know what Jeff's doing. So we'll box this up. So we haven't actually gained that much time over Vettel, but equally we haven't lost any time, if you think about it, because if we'd come in and put on the dry tyres, we would have been done by Hamilton in the pit lane, easily, absolutely easily. So we've still got track position. Look at that engine, 92%. Can we make the last 4 laps of this race? That's all I need, is the last 4 laps. So, we're coming in this lap for the pit lane limiter on. Get it down, 37 miles an hour, it feels so pedestrian. What does Sebastian do? Does he come in for intermediates? That's the question. Ocon follows us in, I assume for intermediate tyres. So, Ocon boxes. No, they look like super softs to me. I don't know, it looked like red tyres going on Ocon's car there. And it's super softs for the... It is, Ocon's put super softs on, so that's it, Are we the only one who spotted the fact it's raining? Or is the track dry tyre suitable? I just don't know. So we're the only ones on intermediate. We've come out behind Ricciardo, in front of our teammate. He's also on dry tyres, Ricciardo's on the super softs. So what has happened? Struggling for traction a bit. Have we made a bad call? Is it not wet tyre time yet? Oh, wheel spin coming out of there. So we'll drop it down into lean, reduce that wheel spin right down. So the question is now is, did we make no, DRS disabled, so no, we didn't make a decision too early. When that sign comes up, that usually means that the race officials have decided it's wet enough to run wet tyres and it's too dangerous for the dry tyre compounds to run DRS. So, P9, exactly where we want to be for the team objective, but you and I both know that we want this race win. We're on intermediate tyres, there's 4 laps to go, well 3.5 now. And all these dry tyre runners, that was a bit messy. All these dry tyre runners now, if they don't box, are going to suffer surely, because it's wet tyre time. So let's see what happens. Who's that in front of Ricciardo? Not entirely sure. up the inside of Ricciardo, then into the final corners. He didn't come into box. Bottas, did Bottas come into pit? No, Grosjean came into pit. Okay, so Vettel and Hamilton are into pit as well. So everybody peeled off besides Raikkonen and Ricciardo. So it looks like Verstappen and Vettel got priority there. So that's Raikkonen and Ricciardo out then, surely. I mean, if everybody else is coming for intermediates, they've got to be so slow. So we can win this race now. 3 laps to go. We're ahead of Vettel, who is surely going to finish second in this race, and the guys right next to us are on dry tyres. So let's see how quickly we can claw in. I mean, we've already pulled out 5 seconds on Ricciardo in the first sector alone, so we must be right on top of Kimi surely by now. Is that Kimi up ahead? Have we caught Kimi up that quickly? It is. So Kimi Raikkonen on the dry tyres, on the soft tyres. So has he made a pit stop? I don't think so. So Kimi's stayed out and done the 1 stop, but poorly, really poorly. You should have come in when I came in ahead of Vettel and put on the intermediates, because now he's just a sitting duck. I mean, this is a Ferrari. This is the fastest car on the grid in Season 1, and look how quickly, look at the grip level difference, just right down the inside of Kimi. So yeah, so Kimi peels off into the pits. I can just see him there in my wing mirror. Ricciardo will surely come into the pits for intermediates, and we are in the lead of the British Grand Prix with 2 laps to go. So let's see what happens. So Raikkonen, we know, came into the pits. Ricciardo must have done, otherwise he would have jumped him now already. Kimi puts on the intermediates. Does Ricciardo get the intermediates on? Are we going to see the change? Yep, so Ricciardo puts intermediates on. Hamilton moves up into 2nd place. Does Raikkonen jump his teammate? No. Okay, so Hamilton has jumped Vettel in the pit stops. We assumed that would happen. So how far back are they both? Let's find out. So we've done our first sector. There's a long time back to Hamilton. See where Hamilton is relative to us. 16 seconds, so nearly a full pit stop. So 16 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. 2 laps to go. As long as we keep it clean, that should be okay. And just like that, we've managed to turn a 2nd place that was gifted to us with an engine that is about to give up on us into a race win at our home Grand Prix. And yeah, honestly, I had to, when I was editing this race, because I record these like a bunch at a time, and then I just leave them there for ages, and then when I've got some free time I edit them and I turn them into these, and I had honestly forgotten this race entirely, and I was just really surprised to see how exciting this race was. There was no point where I thought, yeah, you know what, I can cut out like 5 laps there and it won't make any difference. So yeah, I think what would be next? Is it Hungary next? After, yeah, I think it's Hungary next. And then we go into the summer break, and what I'm going to do there is go and do one of the championship modes, one of the classic championship modes. I don't know if you know what they are if you're watching, but basically they're like mini career modes that you can do in these classic car series. There's also modern series as well to do, so we'll take a look at those, and I think what I'll do then is slide them in. So I'll do one after Hungary each season, and I'll do one after Abu Dhabi in each season, and then I'll do some highlight videos of the first half and the full season at the end, so that everybody knows what's been going on, because I know there's a bit of a gap between each one. And I'm mainly doing these sort of videos to, I don't know, bring a smile to my face at least, because I'd totally forgotten this race, and I mean, this has to be one of my best drives. This Renault was an absolute dog in Season 1, and I didn't do any chassis, engine or front wing upgrades at all to it in Season 1. I did it entirely all reliability. So yeah, this is quite special for me to watch back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this race. I'm going to cross the line to win the British Grand Prix, which is something I never thought I'd say in Season 1 in this Renault. And yeah, I will see you next time, I believe in Hungary, for the Budapest Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching.
Brilliant stuff from Renault today. What a superb victory. As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Renault team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their drivers walk out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Valtteri Bottas, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. Now then, Anthony Davidson,